How you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I'm doing great. Hope you're doing great as well. I apologize for yesterday, guys. I finished out my tech closet in the new house, and one of the pieces of hardware I put in was a new 16 port switch, and apparently that switch was faulty, so it kept giving me intermittent internet signals, and it was cutting my audio all day. So hopefully it's fixed. I think my headphones are still messed up. That was a separate issue, which made it even worse. So I am wearing my son's headphones still this morning. Yeah, so
Yeah, yes, sounds good, man. Glad that
I'm
you're
happy to be back.
be back and sounding good. So
These
excellent.
$8 kids headphones sound just as good as my Bose $300 noise canceling headset as well, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, yeah. I actually got the same headphones you do, and these headphones are amazing. I actually got to start. If you look here, I gotta
Oh
get
wow.
this thing here. I just ordered it online so they could sell that. Because man, they've been to the ringer. Every morning we have them on. So it's been what? We've
Yep.
been doing this for a year and a half or so. So it's
Yeah.
getting quite some use. But again, if you don't have these headphones, and this is not a headphone or electronics show, definitely pick them up. They're amazing. And if you are traveling on a plane and there's a lot of noise, this thing does magic. So, all right, guys, let's get to it this morning. We do have a beautiful gapping list, gapping up and down list this morning. Again, just the usual players here. I'm not seeing anything that, and not a lot of stocks that we have not seen in the past before. A lot of our usual stuff gapping down today. UAL, Delta, American Airlines on here, showing some signs of dropping this morning. BL and K in the double digits. In the gapping up list, we have ANVS 129%. Cannot wait to get into that one. NVAX is a stock that's very difficult to trade, but it's up 30%. We'll look at the details there. That one has been very, very active. There's been some good up and downs in that area. But with that said, guys, let's go into our market pulse, see what's going on here with the SPY. And Norm, what do we have for this coming week?
Yeah, we had a pretty big up day yesterday, so I'm not surprised to see a little bit of a pullback here, about 2/3% on the SPY. All sectors in the red. It looks like the biggest down is energy right now. Hush, girl, Sophie. I apologize for that. I guess she went long yesterday. She's angry.
She's not agreeing with
So,
you, man.
somebody's got a dog out front. I'll take care of that in just a second. Anyway, energy's down. All the sectors really are down across the board. We'll see what happens. That 315 level is pretty significant on the SPY. So that was that. As far as other stuff goes, we've got job openings at 10 a.m. That's the only piece of economic data that I see out this morning. There's some news on the virus vaccine front, which is popping a number of these stocks, and we'll talk about that in a second. And that's what I got. I'm going to mute and take care of my dog, and I'll hop back on in just a second with you.
All right, sounds good, Norm. So yeah, guys, and talking about yesterday, let's take a quick look at some of the stuff we had yesterday on our watch list, guys. It was a very good and decent day, so hopefully you guys were able to take advantage. Our watch list was pretty good all around. Starting with let's look at the 5 minute; it's a little cleaner. Starting with NIO was something that was very active. Here's the action from yesterday. Good pre-market activity, nice pop here on NIO, taking a pretty nice swing towards the top, and then just kind of getting a little choppy towards the later part of the open. Here on Uber, guys, what an amazing drop. Hopefully you took advantage of this beautiful drop here. Great pre-market action. We knew Uber was going to be very active based on the pre-market activity we were getting, but did not expect for this to have this type of drop. I mean, this thing just took off. And here's an example, guys, where the 5 minute open range breakdown is not going to work for you. This is too extended. If you were looking for 2 minute, 1 minute, yes, but aside from that, 5 minutes is not going to work here. Another way you could trade this is if you start marking some of these levels in the pre-market. Once it loses that level, like this one here around 32.87, that could be a good opportunity, good risk to reward, slightly below the VWAP to take it as a short. Then becomes a beautiful double bottom, right? It goes all the way up to VWAP, comes back down, retests this level again, and that's a great entry for a swing back towards the VWAP and higher. American Airlines, another one that traded somewhat decent, but look at WKHS, beautiful open range breakdown on the 5. I took this one here. It took a while, had to be a little patient, but my entry was great, so we were able to take advantage of this this drop all the way down here. SQ was another one that just took off, and look how beautiful SQ was, long and then short. You got a nice triple top up here, then decides to really lose this level right on here around 126, and from there straight to the VWAP. VWAP cannot even slow it down, continues to drop all the way back down where it opened up. So SQ was amazing to trade. This stock continues to be strong even with the day it had yesterday. Plug was the one that did not trade all that well, guys. Again, just not clean, very choppy in here, and we kind of expected this at the open. Did give you a good pop later on in the day, but for the most part had a really rough open. And then how clean was PDD as well? Look at this beautiful drop here, guys. Again, I was watching this closely, but this candle kind of threw me off a little bit. It looked like it wanted to actually take off and pop towards the top. This stock was strong, so shorting it was not a great idea at the time, but man, look how great this thing dropped. So again, a lot of continuation yesterday. Hopefully you took advantage. It was a day that if you're watching any of these stocks, you were able to get some good opportunities going there. Let's look at what we have this morning. Let's remove our gappers list we have here. Here we go. All right, we'll make some room here, and we will start looking at what we have. Let's start with what's gapping down today. We got quite a bit on there. Let's look at a few here. BLNK this morning. This one, that's yesterday's information. Here we go. Here's today's info. So this morning, very choppy pre-market action. Not anything that I would not surprise me the way this stock trades. Their daily is also very horrible, guys. Not anything clean. Let's look at how it traded yesterday. Even yesterday's action, you can see here. Again, the volume didn't really come in until a little bit later on 10:30 or so. But for the most part, again, not a clean trader. So I kind of stay away from this one. I'm not going to add it to my list. It is down 14% today. Could be a nice drop here in continuation. I do not have shares for sure on this one. So I'm going to skip on that one at the moment. WKHS. This one, guys, I do like this one. I like the fact this is very extended on the daily. Had a big red day yesterday. Traded very well for the most part. It's a stock that doesn't trade all that clean. Today we could expect some continuation out of it. This morning already 1.2 million shares traded. Now, when I was in the stock yesterday, the moves, you got to be very careful with the type of numbers of shares you take here, because some of these candles can be easily 70 cents a dollar. So be careful on that end. But I do like what I'm seeing here on WKHS. So we'll keep an eye on this one, see what we can get there. CARV, another one that has been very active. Their daily, very horrible, by the way. Their pre-market action not looking great. Has been very active, great at gapping up and then selling down. You see a lot of red candles in here. Even on some big pops, you had to push up here and just continues to came back down and sold off pretty nice. Same thing a couple of days ago. So I'm not seeing anything out of the norm at the moment. We do have volume. It is down 5.3, but this pre-market action is really not giving us anything for us to.
Just remember the tiny float on that. It's 3.7 million. I think that used to be under a million. There might have been shares added to the float there, but when this has been trading. With the whole equality movement going on here in the last month, and it's been a wild ride, that's for sure.
Yeah, it sure has, guys. Again, let's just look at the daily. This is, again, there's nothing attractive about this daily here. So I'm going to avoid this one as much as possible. Let's look at NKLA also here, down 4% this morning. A little bit better on the daily. I do like what I'm seeing now. We're getting to this nice area of support that we're seeing here around the previous day close. So we're slightly below that. Pre-market actually starting to get going. Looking okay, not great. My issue with this stock is it is a very aggressive stock to trade. It's only 25 million shares flow, so it is not a low flow stock, but you want to be careful in trading this stock. But I do like what I'm seeing here, guys. If this thing can go for a nice drop, you do have some levels down here that we can get to that are looking pretty decent. So I'm gonna add it on here, but again, knowing my style of trading, we'll do levels for it. I'm probably not going to keep it on my list. Here is D was incredible yesterday, and Norm, thank you so much for bringing this up in our pre-market show last night. I did not have this on watch, but what a beautiful short this turned out to be. Give it a little bit of fake out here for a nice possible pop. It looked like in the pre-market you had a lot of good buying pressure. Looked like it wanted to squeeze some people because this thing sold off the entire pre-market. So let's just look back a little bit here. Yeah, it was insane. I mean, we're up at 99.94, almost cracking 100, and by the time the pre-market's open, we are already down to 80, almost $20 here, $30. So just a little bit of a pop here. I guess people either covering or getting out of their positions, and then you can see how beautiful it just continues to drop into the intraday. Got a little bounce here, but man, this bounce comes over around $73. This morning, possible continuation, some good volume already, 169 And for an icy stock, that is actually quite a bit. So I like what I'm seeing here. The daily obviously taking a huge hit. It is really all over the place, blowing through all these levels and all these technicals. I like what I'm seeing here on D this morning. Norm, what was the news on this one, by the way? I believe they actually had positive news, correct?
Well, not really. Yes and no. So Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, was buying a division of their company, but there were also some other negative things, cutting dividends. There's some hints of financial trouble. Let's put it that way. They're in the energy business, oil and gas, and obviously that's been a troubled sector over the last few months. So they kind of have things going on both ways.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. I only heard about the part about Hathaway being involved. I did not hear about the other information. So yeah, that's not good for them. So you can see here, guys, possible continuation today. I will definitely be having this one on my radar. All right, let's look at some of the airlines we have in here this morning. Leading the way is United. Not the best pre-market action. Very light on volume, only 460,000. We are used to seeing quite a bit out of these airlines. Let's take. So I'm not a fan of it right now. Also, the daily seems very choppy. Look at the difference between the last couple of days, a week or so, how choppy it has been compared to how beautiful the ranges were before we got into this choppy area, right? So this movement here created a lot of opportunities because the stock is actually moving and picking a direction the entire day. So when you have these type of candles, it's easy to get into a beautiful trend trade, into a good continuation situation. Here, you're not seeing that. We have not seen that over the last couple of days. So not sure what to expect out of it. Volume is a little bit lighter than usual. Going down to the next airline that we had on our list yesterday was American Airlines.
There's some concerns about these airlines laying people off once their PPP obligations or their stimulus obligations are over.
Expired. Yeah. And American Airlines was active, very active yesterday, actually. So again, very similar right now, holding on to this level of support that we've been having over the last couple of days. But again, just really, really choppy and very light on the volume. Well, not light. 836 is actually quite a bit. But compared to what we've seen when we had these type of movements, it's not all that great. And we have Save here also, similar situation. So I think the airlines are going to take a backseat from me today. I would like to see them on our scanners for the most part. I don't see anything great this morning. We're actually getting through this entire list. Here's Delta.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty amazing that we're moving this fast this morning. NCLH also not looking. Let's look at the cruise lines, by the way. Let's go back up to CCL. This one, what I like about CCL here is that we're barely holding on to this level of support. So I do like CCL in this situation. The volume is a little bit lighter. Pre-market, we're used to seeing a whole lot of more volume and a whole lot of activity. But I wonder what will happen if we lose this area of support here. Well, are we going to get a nice little run here towards the downside? We do have shares for short on this one. I think this will be a good one to have on our list this morning. And the next cruise line we have on here is NCLH. A little bit lighter on the volume, not by much, but similar situation. CCL looks a little bit better on the daily because if you look at NCLH, you do have still a bit to go to get to the next level of support in the last couple of days. If you look at CCL, it's already on that support level, so it might give you probably a little bit of a better run if it decides to take a dive here. All right, so we cover mainly what we have here on our gapping down list. I think we're only missing two, so I might as well just do them. BTI, I believe this is a foreign stock. Look at the daily, guys. Doesn't trade very well. And when you see this type of choppiness, look at the volume. The volume is usually going to be very, very light. Yeah, and these foreign companies are under 2.6 for the most part. So we'll skip on that one. And the next one, SRNE here, also horrible pre-market action, although you have 278. A lot of that sitting on this candle here at 8 o'clock, which is probably transactions being posted. Let's head over to what is gapping up this morning. Let's start with ANVS. Now this one is up 124. Float on this is 4.3. I'm going to throw this down here. This is definitely active for the low flow team this morning. 3.5 million shares traded right now. So nice big pop here. Norm, do we have any news on this ticker today?
Yeah, they got approval on a phase 2 trial for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's treatment. So they're popping up here. Keep a note. It's a 4 million share float on that. So it's part of what's popping it so much this morning. Little tiny news, tiny float.
Yeah, again, guys, we're always going to mention this when we see this type of stocks, because we work with a lot of traders and we've seen what these stocks do to specifically new traders. And even some traders have been trading for 2 or 3 years that decide, hey, let me try this out, 121%. Man, if I would have bought just 500 shares here, what would it be? And once you start thinking that way, that's the wrong way to approach trading. Just be very careful if this is your cup of tea here. NVAX, another one that has been extremely active, up huge this morning, 30%, 1.5 million shares traded. Norm, I'm sure we got some action going on here that's costing this pop on this one.
Yeah, they got big news this morning, man. So Operation Warp Speed, which is the U.S. government's attempt to get a vaccine out as fast as humanly possible to treat coronavirus. They got a $1.6 million grant to get their manufacturing going for a drug that should be, as they say at least, available by the end of the year.
Wow. Big stuff happening for them, big money being pushed around here. So they're up really pretty nice this morning, up 30%, and we'll see if they can continue on this run they have here. So definitely on our list, very active. Be mindful of your number of shares, guys. If you zoom in here, if you look at these candles, this one here, this 5-minute candle, right? We're going from the low of 101.60 to the high of 104. So that tells you how fast this thing is moving, how aggressive it's going to be. So at the open, be careful. If you're trading pre-market, also be mindful of the number of shares you take. There's nothing wrong with trading a stock that moves like this, but you have to be able to manage your risk accordingly. VSLR here's, and also aside from managing your risk accordingly, you have to account for slippage. This stock has right now almost a 40 cents almost a 40 cents a spread here. So you got to account for slippage. Something goes wrong. If you get gapped down, how much more can you give back, right? So keep that in mind. Yeah. And if it's out of your league, which it probably is out of my league, and a lot of us that don't trade that type of stock, don't trade it. Don't watch it. There's plenty of other stuff that we can look at. VSLR here, guys. This one is up 20%. Pre-market is very light right now, only 163, but the actual price action in the pre-market is really all over the place. Again, I'm not liking what I'm seeing now, but it is up 21% this morning, Norm, with some pretty good pop here. Any news on this?
Yeah, so they are getting bought out by Sunrun, which is not, it's the next, it's 2 down on the list. RUN is the ticker on that for, I'm seeing different things. I'm seeing 3.2 billion. I'm seeing 1.5 billion. So not sure what, but that's what that is.
Okay, so guys,
and also that uncertainty in the number is probably why it's actually moving around more than the typical buyout with a flat line.
Gotcha. So again, this type of news normally does not trade very well. So I'm going to skip on these two guys. Again, it tends not to trade well. Now, we've seen this type of situation and the stock completely puts in the best intraday trade possible or intraday play opportunities possible. But for the most part, it's not something we really focus on. Let's look here. What do we have? This is VXRT. Another one, guys, has been really active. Started about end of last month here, getting pretty exciting when it comes to volume and gapping up pretty huge. But for the most part, it's not a stock that trades all that well. For me personally, I've been staying away from this one. It's been hitting our scanners quite a bit. We can do some levels for it because I know there are some members that have had success with this stock here. It is not a low flow stock. It's just lower price. And again, it's just been moving pretty active this morning. 1.9 million shares, up 20%. Obviously, Norm, they had news before. Any new news on this or anything, any updates that's causing this pop?
I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything really fresh and significant on this. Maybe somebody else has something. It may just be following some of these other vaccine companies.
Got it. Yep, that could be it. So again, guys, I'll throw it on here. We'll do some levels, but I know I'm probably not going to keep this one on our list. Okay, so Norm, what do you have this morning that you like so far?
I'm still looking. I'm not seeing a ton, frankly. It's not interesting to me today.
Yeah, it could be one of those days where, again, we had a great day yesterday.
I will change. Hey, I take that back. Square.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Square should be interesting.
Yes. Square is good.
They had that big pop at the gap at the open. They sold off essentially the entire day. They're gapping up a little bit again. It's not quite enough to make our list this morning, but it should be interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
I would say Tesla if it wasn't $1,400 ticker right now.
of course.
It should be an interesting thing to watch. I won't trade it. It's just even it's gotten a little short. It's gotten a little rich for my blood even. I'm
Yeah,
still
yeah.
looking other than that.
Okay, perfect. I do like SQ here, guys. Again, big sell-off yesterday, coming back to this area that was prior resistance, now can becoming support, and we're getting a beautiful bounce off of that this morning. What this stock has done over the last couple of months is just incredible with how strong this thing has been. So, all right, let's take a look. Yes, we do have D in here. Someone mentioned that. So we do have D here. It's gapping down nicely. Possible continuation today, guys, on this one. So definitely sitting on our list. All right, let's take a look at what we have,
Tell you,
guys. Yeah.
Jason in the chat here. NVIDIA could be interesting as well. They got an upgrade this morning, and they are, I believe, at their all-time high.
Okay.
And then another one, Jason in the chat room mentioned the social media stocks, Facebook, Twitter, Snap. I know some people had good trades, I believe, on Twitter yesterday. I was busy fixing equipment, but they are meeting with the boycott leaders over who have pulled up advertising from their platform today, at least with Zuckerberg. So it could be interesting, specifically Facebook, Twitter, Snap.
Yep, I'm just surprised that even with all of that, look at Facebook. I mean, yeah, it did a little budge here, but it's right back to the 240. So it's going to come down to something interesting when some of that stuff comes out out of those meetings. All right, so definitely, out of all of them right now, I'm not seeing anything all that great right now. They're pre-market action, both pretty light on Twitter and Facebook. But again, it's something to keep in mind. Twitter had, as you mentioned, had a great day yesterday. Nice, beautiful pop here. Very light volume while doing this, but still a nice, beautiful pop yesterday that we're seeing there. All right, let's see what else we guys. Let's start with, I saw Mimi. Mimi had OSTK. Let's take a look at this one. This is a stock that was very active in the past. Did have a good day yesterday. Beautiful here, beautiful pop here above the VWAP and the moving averages. Today, guys, the volume is very light. Also, the pre-market action is extremely light. Possible continuation here. And that's the thing too. This one can move very wild on you. It's almost, I treat it like a low flow stock, guys. Really. I mean, what is the float on this, by the way? Let's pull this up.
40-ish billion. Actually, it used to be a low float.
It was, right?
Floats increased a little bit over the last year, 18 months, but it still trades like a low float.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really have the order flow and volume usually to make it smooth, and it can jump around like crazy. I mean, look at that big red candle there. I don't know. That might just be some weird print or so. Yeah, that was way too early in the morning, but nevertheless, it can move a ton.
Well, we see what this stock can do. So again, just be cautious on it, guys. Be very, very careful. All right, let's scroll on down here. So we Plug and Delta. We looked at Delta, didn't look all that great. Here's Plug, guys. Kind of losing it a little bit. I didn't like the way Plug traded yesterday. I had it on watch. I didn't like the way the price action was, and I expected it was not going to be great. Yes, this looks good after the fact, but if you were looking at the price action, it wasn't clean for me. So I'm not inclined to put this one on the list. I do like what I'm seeing here on the daily. We kind of got a little pushback in it in a very critical area at this moment. Nice resistance, nice support. So you got some decisions to make here as we're dropping down below this 965, which was the lows from the last trading day, plus also the high. So interesting area for sure. You know, I'll add it on there. I will put some levels for it in case it hits our scanners and we can see something good. But the price action was definitely not clean on Plug yesterday. And Delta, we took a look at, guys. I'm going to stay away from the airlines right now because I'm not seeing anything great, to be honest, on any of the airlines at this moment. So I'm going to put them on the bench for now. If we see something on the scanners, we'll take advantage of it and we'll hop into it. All right, let's head on down here. Who else do we have? Neo. Let's look at Neo here. CS is giving us this ticker this morning. So Neo right now very active. 8.1 million shares traded so far. Should be hitting our scanners pretty soon here. Here it is, down 2.1. So yeah, this is active, guys. Definitely worth taking a look at. We'll throw it on here. We've seen a lot of volume on this one this morning. Let's head on down. What do we have? The INO. So this one here also very active, but again, this one for me, It's tough to trade. Yesterday, nice big drop here. I have a hard time trading this one. It did trade actually very well yesterday. I didn't watch it closely. You can see here, nice beautiful pop and recovery towards the bottom. Right now, pre-market action a little bit, not all over the place. It does have a pretty good pre-market action. You do have a nice flow here, bouncing off this previous day close 3 times already this morning. Yeah, I think it's worth watching. As you could tell, I'm not I'm not a fan of it, but definitely worth putting some levels at least. All right, we'll do a few more, guys. I'm going to scroll down here as we're running a little bit out of time. Let's look at Roku, and then we'll hop over to the YouTube chat and see what we have there. So Roku this morning, pretty quiet, only 26,000 shares traded. Nice, decent day yesterday. I love Roku. Roku is like the all-time sleeper stock. Look at this pre-market action. It might not ever hit your gappers, nothing, and then beautiful drop here. Find some buyers, picks them up, and look at this candle, just takes off. And we've seen this over and over on Roku. So again, don't mind me when I say this is a dead pre-market activity. This could be the best trading stock on any given day. So if you have space, throw it on there. Maybe I'll throw it down as a possible this morning. How does the daily look? Let's take a look at that. That could also be a deciding factor here. Daily also looks good, guys. We're sitting right at this area of prior resistance, right? We've been testing this for some time. Are we going to continue and try to break towards this 136 we had yesterday? Or are we going to come back down and retest some of these levels here? So again, you can't go by the pre-market action on Roku sometimes. Let's take a look at our our YouTube chat. What do we have here? Let's start with Ricardo here. So NIO we looked at already. Jose BSLR we do have on this list, or at least we looked at BSLR. Oh yeah, this is the buyout stock. So they are into a buyout with run. So I'm going to stay away from these guys. This type of news and catalyst normally does not trade very well. So for that reason, I'm staying away from those. NVAX we do have on our list here, guys. Very active this morning, up 30%, holding now. Let's see if we can come back up and test some of these pre-market highs we have up here, all the way up to 117. Let's take a look at BABA and D we also have. So for those on YouTube, guys, if you see the ticker already on here, that means we will look at it into more details as we do levels if you're new. So if it's already on here, don't throw it out. We're going to definitely keep it on watch, and we'll look at it into more details. So as looking at BABA right now, BABA is really all over the place. This pre-market action is interesting to say the least. I mean, we do have a beautiful candle here, not a beautiful, a crazy candle here, which is probably transactions being posted to 122,000 shares being dropped there, 344, but I'm not seeing anything all that great. I do see a possible continuation though, because it did put in a big day yesterday. You know, it might be worth taking a look at and seeing what kind of activity we're going to get when we get closer to doing levels. All right, we'll do a few more, guys. Let's do D. We have Solo. Let's do Solo. We'll do Netflix, and then we'll head over to announcements this morning. So Solo right now, this stock it could be a hit or miss. It's one of those stocks that's not easy to trade. You're gonna get a lot of volume today. It looks like there's 1.5 million shares being traded so far, so it is definitely in play. Not sure if there's any specific news on it, or are we getting some continuation plays from such a great volume and such a great pop yesterday. Let's actually go back and look at how we did yesterday on here. So very rough start. As you can see, very choppy. Eventually this settled down and gave you some pops here. But again, it's a stock that's not the easiest one to really read the price action. And this tends to happen with these lower price stocks. You know, I'm starting to notice that anything under $5 tends to trade a little bit different than the $10, $20, which I prefer. All right, guys, let's go over to announcements. We'll come back and fine tune this list and see what will be our main watch list and also some possibles.
All right, guys. So success webinars. We've only got the one up for this week. We've had to make a couple of changes on the fly since Dr. Reed dropped out. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m., you will have Peter talking about setting up a trading plan at the beginning of your trading journey. So check him out. That'll be in the webinar room. Next week is going to be, and I don't have it on here. It should be up on the website tomorrow. For the success webinar next Wednesday at 8 p.m. will be Jared talking about how to identify and maximize trend trades. Because it just like D yesterday, we showed the chart and it was just this beautiful waterfall all day long down. It was an all-day fade. And, you know, how do you identify what's going on and how you can catch that and maximize it? So he'll be talking about that next week. I'm really looking forward to it. He's still working on it. It's kind of a last-minute addition because we had a gap in the schedule. That's why it's not on here, but it'll be on here next week. As far as psychology goes, Tonight, you've got Dr. Katz talking about handling FOMO. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern in the webinar room tonight. Next week, Mike starts over his modules. It'll be module 1, defining yourself as a trader, 8 p.m. in the webinar room as well. Did I drop? No, there I am. I was just worried because of yesterday. If you're watching us on YouTube and haven't tried out the chat and you'd like to, use the promo code premarket24. That's premarket24. That'll discount the 7-day trial, 1 week, calendar week in the room trial from $39 to $24. It'll also give you access to the Monday night onboarding class that Carlos does live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So you can try out the room, go to the onboarding, see if it's a good fit, and see if you'd like to become a member for a longer period of time. Speaking of, this is the last day we'll have this up. 40% off the single payment lifetime membership. You can use the promo code Independence40. That will get you 40% off a lifetime membership, whether you upgrade or you become just a lifetime member off the bat. So use that promo code Independence40. That'll be pulled off later today. If you enjoy podcasts, take your favorite podcast platform, search Talk with Traders. That will find you the Bear Bull Traders podcast. Big shout out to Peter, who is just putting up phenomenal content each and every week and a half, 2 weeks. So thank you, Peter, for your hard work on that podcast. It's amazing. It's great to listen to. Speaking of Peter, join him, Mike, and Brian for our Closing Bell Show, Markets Close on Wall Street, each Monday through Thursday, 3:30 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern. That live streams on YouTube. It's essentially, they have a lot of fun. They watch the market close. As we get into earnings, there will be more interest because then we'll talk about earnings right after the close. So there you go.
All right. Thank you, Norm. Appreciate that. All right, guys, let's go over into our watch list. WKHS, let's start from the top here. Definitely very active, guys. Love what I'm seeing here. Look at this beautiful pop, trying to get up to the previous day close. Nice rejection, and it's coming right back down to the low of the pre-market. So I'm going to keep this one on deck. Looks very good. NKLA also looking interesting in this pre-market right now. Possible continuation. The last 2 days for this stock has not been great. Are we going to find support here, or are we going to continue on this nice bloodbath that we're seeing here? So I like what I'm seeing there as well. D also looking very similar. We were trying to hold on to this previous, this low of the pre-market here. Possible continuation as well. But also, this is a very extended right now. Sold off pretty hard yesterday. Are we going to get some kind of bounce or relief here on this pre-market action or at the open? So I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to open today. We had a great trade yesterday on it. Let's see if that can continue today. CCL, guys, I'm gonna have to remove it again. I'm not seeing anything great this pre-market action. Volume is exceptionally light for the most part, and again, unless we lose this level, then it becomes a little bit more interesting. If we're going back up here, unless the SPY is going to put in a really strong push towards the top, because these travel stocks, they tend to really follow what the overall market does. I don't see it breaking through all these levels with what I'm seeing right now, so I'm going to remove this one now. This will be a good one to hit if it hits the scanners. I know a lot of people, moderators, will be watching, might be watching this stock or keeping an eye on it, and I'm sure they'll call something out if they see something great on it. So NVAX, guys, very, very nice. We'll keep it on here, very active. We'll do levels for it. I might not keep this one on watch, though, for me personally, but we'll do some levels for it. And the reason for that is because it just seems too wild for me. I think managing the risk here will be a little bit more difficult. And also, I'm not sure what type of price action you're going to get with this type of spread. So I might stay away from this one. VXRT, another one that not moving all that well, guys. Hasn't really had a great daily. I'm going to remove this one also. It does have 2.3 million shares traded, but for the most part, not really this type of stock that I like to watch. SQ is looking great. Now look at this type of stock. This is the type of pre-market action you want to see. Look how beautiful this pop is. Comes back and retests this moving average and now pushing higher. Had a big red day yesterday, taking a nice dive here, a nice rejection, but it looks like we might be trying to head back up. This stock has been so strong, but it does need a little time and break here and there to consolidate and get a little pullbacks, and we've been seeing that over and over again. So I wonder if today's going to be the day where this thing takes off and tries to test that 125 price level there. Here's an NVIDIA, guys, also looking very good. I like NVIDIA as a possible for the most part, so let's make some room here for the stuff that we're going to watch as a possible. I like NVIDIA. Oops, some more room. Here we go. add a little more columns on there. Oh, wrong. Here we go. So let's throw NVIDIA right on here. I'll remove it from here. That's a good possible for now. Plug, guys. Oh, nice drop on Plug. We're seeing some good pre-market action. My only concern with Plug is the actual intraday trading at the open. It was very choppy yesterday. Pre-market, the price action was horrible for me to read. So I'm going to throw it on as a possible. It's looking good right now, though. Like we might be wanting to lose some of these levels. You know what? We'll keep it on here for now. NIO. This one here, very active. 8.6 million shares traded right now. That seems decent. INO, I'm going to remove, guys. I think this one is not looking all that great compared to whatever else we have. Roku is a good possible. I think Roku could be the sleeper, as we've seen so many times where this stock has a horrible pre-market action or not a great one, and then you have a beautiful opening day. So let's keep that one on there. Baba, also my concern with Baba is just kind of chopping sideways right now. I think it could be a great possible to break out and get a good continuation after such a big day yesterday. Nice big gap up here, held that run to the entire day, guys. Let's see how it did yesterday. Really held that, had a little dip here towards the close, towards the afternoon, but then at the close recovered nicely and then some into the post hours yesterday. So I like what I'm seeing there. Possible continuation, but not enough, I think, to have it on our main list. I'm going to throw it down here as a possible next to Roku and NVIDIA. So I think these are going to be some really good ones to keep an eye out for and have in our secondary list. Here's Solo. Now this one, guys, again, is active. I know some people are going to watch it. I'm going to throw it down as a possible. Just if we get time, we'll do some levels for it. But it's a stock that's slightly on the difficult side to trade and to read the price action. And usually these stocks under $5 tend to do that. I'm going to throw it on there. We'll do some levels for it, but most likely not going to make our final list. So this is what we have, guys. Not a whole lot this morning, but again, we got some good ones in here. WKHS looking very nice this morning. Low of the pre-market being tested several times here. 15.53. Look how many times we tested this here. Even after hours yesterday, we came right to it, found support right before the close of the entire trading day. After hours, another area of support here. And this morning we tested it several times already, including 5 minutes ago. So I like what I'm seeing there, guys. If we lose this, we can go for a beautiful run. Hopefully this gives us an opportunity for us to take advantage of it, at least for me to finish the show and get into that opportunity. So we have a 1569 here, guys. We do have a great level towards the bottom. We have 1102 as well down here. Beautiful area of support, slightly above this area of resistance, but I'm going to mark this down because it's 1025. You can look how clear that resistance is right there on these 3 days. So you definitely want to have that on there. Towards the top, guys, the previous day closes on here. Your high for this pre-market very close to the low from yesterday. So your highs and lows pretty much got you covered all the way to the most recent high. So you do not need to add any more towards the top here in this area. Here's NK. One more thing on this stock, guys. Be very careful with the number of shares. This stock can really move. Some of these candles are easily $1 to about 50 cents. So careful there. Here's NKLA, guys. So for the most part right now, holding on to this previous day close. Had a rough time the last couple of days, really selling off nicely here. So you got a beautiful, nice drop at the moment. 46.31 is the low of the pre-market. Below that, we do have a great area right on here at around 40.82, and then also a great area of resistance that can now become support at 37.87. What I like about this one, guys, again, if we lose this, we have some good levels we can get to. In the last couple of days, we've been really struggling, just blowing by some of these support areas that we've seen. Today could be a possible continuation or hopefully a nice bounce over to that previous day close. Here's D, guys, also trying to hold on to the low of the pre-market. An incredible day yesterday and a very clean day yesterday as well. So it was just not a day where it's just sold off your highway to hell. It was also very clean with some good opportunities to get into a short here or to add to your position. So love the way you traded yesterday. Hopefully we can get some kind of action like that today. I don't think it's going to run like this today. Obviously it's very extended, but that type of move is going to create some good continuation for us. Towards the top, you do have your high very close to the low from yesterday, so don't really need to mark that. You have your previous day close all the way up here, but I want to go over to the left because this is a big gap. Right, so from where we at now, 70.80, the low of the pre-market, all the way to the previous day close, sitting at 73.59. That's a big range. I want to see if we can find a minor support level in here. I think right around, we see some days opening and closing, right around 72.12 could be a good area. So I'm going to mark that down just in case we get some kind of squeeze in here. We have a midway point as a minor level that we can look forward to. If this thing is going to drop and take a dive like it did yesterday, great support over at around 68.74, guys. Look how great that support has been. 1, 2, 3, 4 days bouncing off that 68.74. So again, I love D right now. This pre-market low has been tested several times. Be mindful, do not have a short bias just because the stock sold off yesterday. Today can sell off at the open and squeeze right back up. I'd be surprised how many people might be still short in here from yesterday and could be trying to cover. You get a quick squeeze rally in there, short covering rally. So be very careful in in being short bias and not getting in at the right time and not timing your entry carefully there. Hey,
take a look at Uber real quick. It's just kind of caught fire in the last couple of minutes.
All right, what we got going on here? Volume is just starting to come in very hot on Uber. Any news out, Norm?
I haven't seen it yet. I just noticed it thanks to Dennis P. in the room. He mentioned Uber. It wasn't doing anything earlier, but now it seems to be moving.
Yeah, we got some volume coming in here on Uber, so I'm definitely going to add this to the bottom of our list here. I love Uber. When it's in play, guys, it trades very, very clean. We saw that yesterday. Yesterday, it happened pretty fast, though. It didn't give you a chance to get in on this open range breakdown for the 5 minute unless you got in before that when you saw this thing dropping down. So, again, when it's in play, guys, it trades very clean. So
yeah, the Postmates news, Postmates news isn't anything new. That's been known since last week, and then Sunday night, the actual number, what they're buying it, came out for. But I guess Jermaine C. is saying that the CEO is on CNBC right now. You can tell my TV's off. Usually I have it on so I can tell if that's what the catalyst for something is.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one, guys. I definitely like the way this one trades. Let's head back over to NVAX. So this one, guys, since we have such a big gap, I'm gonna look for some pre-market levels. I see some good ones on here already. 106.10 is a nice one. Look at the support happening there, now acting as some resistance in the last 5 minute candle we got here. And then towards the bottom of that, we do have 178. That's 100 with 78 cents, by the way, right here. Nice, some good support happening there as well. Towards the bottom, below that, 88.94, great area of resistance. You can mark that down. And then below that, plenty of highs and lows in the last 2 trading days. Guys, again, this is very active. It is sexy, up 30%, 2 million shares traded. But I'm not going to watch this one. I'm going to remove it because I know what I'm good at. I'm going to stick to what I'm good at. And this type of stock that usually look like this, I'm not great at. So stick to what you're good at. Don't go chasing stuff that looks pretty and looks nice, and just go with what you're good at. Here's SQ, guys. I like SQ. It's been so strong the last couple of days, trading very well as well. Just look at it yesterday. If you missed our show earlier today, we started at 8:30, by the way. Look at this beautiful pop. Look at how beautiful this retest here of this triple top, and then look at the drop here. It's just amazing. You could have had a great opportunity towards the top here and an amazing short. So this thing was active the entire day yesterday. So looking forward to that type of activity today with it being so strong. Up 2.2 right now, some decent volume. And we have our high of the pre-market at 121.97. I am going to mark some levels from yesterday because we don't have anything else up here. And this is a big gap between 121 to all the way to 128. That's a big gap. So I'm going to look where we have some buyers stepping in or bailing out here. 122.88 looks like an area where you have some type of loss of momentum and some type of support on the way back down, slightly above that 123. And also you cannot miss this support level here, 126.07. It tried to hold this. It could not. Once it broke that, all hell breaks loose and you're dropping down way below your previous take, way below your VWAP there. So got some levels there for SQ, guys, so we can see how this is going to react. Right now getting a nice rejection of that 121.97. Here's Plug, another stock that is very active this morning. I usually would not keep this on watch because it trades very difficult for me. But here we have a beautiful drop. I like what I'm seeing here. Hopefully this can continue to sell off here for the most part. Towards the bottom, you do have your low of the last 2 days ago's trading. Here that would have been Thursday or so. So for the most part, that's there around $9. And then below that, you do have 8.45. And then towards the top, guys, previous day close and the highs from yesterday's tradings got you covered. So here's next we have NIO, guys. So NIO, let's remove some of these levels, get some fresh ones. Your highs and lows got you pretty much covered right now. But in between here, you do have your pre-market low sitting right at 11.11. So let's mark that down. And then aside from that, not much levels in here for NIO. And again, the pre-market action, You got volume. You got 9,000 shares here, but what are you actually getting out of that 9 million shares traded there? I'm not seeing a whole lot, guys. So not too excited about what I'm seeing on this one. I'll keep it on here, but if I see something better come out of our possibles list, I might exchange this one for something else. Uber will keep on here. Let's see. We are getting some volume. Let's see something breaks out with their CEO being on TV now and what he says. If he rubs things one way or the other, let's see how that breaks out. However, pre-market right now at 32.70. It looks like this thing wants to go green right now in the next couple of minutes, so we'll keep an eye on it. For the most part, highs and lows got you pretty much covered, guys. You're stuck between a lot of levels from the last 2 trading days. If you can break out of this high from yesterday, the next level will be 33.97, right? So you got a nice, pretty nice area of resistance here, nice area to keep a level if we can break out of this this situation here. All right, guys, that is what we have. Our possibles, just to recap, NVIDIA here trading very nice actually right now, trying to get higher. Roku pretty much quiet, but we'll see how the open looks for that. Baba's starting to get going here, starting to look a little more interesting now, guys. If we can start to push up here, high of our pre-market at 245. I'm sure this was, by the way, it's not price action. This is really Chesamoto's being dropped in here, 122, a couple of block trades looks like. Here's Solo, another good possible, great pre-market action, so be on the lookout for that one. No shares to short right now. And you also have NVAX, again, very active, up 30%, but just be mindful of trading this stock. All right, that is what we have, guys. Let's take a look at what our moderators have before we shut it down here for the pre-market show. Let's start over with who's first. We have Thor. Yep, Thor. So Thor's watching Twitter, had a solid day yesterday. He wants to see some possible continuation on this new trend, so that's nice. NIO, solid volume, lots of buzz in that sector. He also has SQ, obviously has been incredible the last couple of days. That is his main list. His secondary, Microsoft, and also D. I'm definitely going to keep D on watch too. Possible continuation there after such a red day yesterday. Heading down over to Jared. So no trading today for him, but he does like NIO, NVAX, and also D as well as some possibles. Peter is watching SQ and ANVS, the low flow stock. Wow, Peter, I'm surprised. You usually don't watch those, but yeah, Peter's watching that one today. He likes what he sees. Secondary list, NVAX, INO, NIO, AMD, and that's both, by the way, INO, NIO, so he's watching both. AMD, Uber, LM, and D as well. What else we have? So Peter, he did some adjustments here, pretty much looking pretty much the same. Oh, he's adding NVIDIA to his main list. And here's Norm. Norm, you're watching NVAX, INO, SQD, Roku, and LM and D. I'm gonna have to check that LM and D out. See a lot of you guys throwing that on there. Eamon is watching ANVX, NVAX, NKLA, and that's his secondary, WKHS and INO as well. John doesn't like a lot this morning, but he likes Baba and Facebook for the most part. And Brian watching SQ, NIO, WKHS, Baba, and NVS for fun. All right, guys. We have a pretty good list. Not as great as yesterday. Yesterday's list was amazing, but let's hope that out of this bunch here, we get some good intraday trades, a good open. SQ starting to get really active this morning. I like what I'm seeing there. Looking forward to this market open.
Absolutely, man.
All right, guys, that is all we have. Take care. Trade safe, guys. We will see you again tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern time. Have a great day.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.